Once upon a time, Kanye West was so determined to succeed in rap and took his music so seriously that he rapped with a wire holding his jaws together after a near fatal car crash. But today, that man who clawed himself up from being discredited as not hood enough to succeed as an MC and the Kanye we see today would probably have nothing but hatred for one another. But none of this happened overnight. And while Kanye's issues in recent years, such as his comments about slavery, threats to kill Pete Davidson, and anti-Semitic remarks are well documented, there's a whole lot more going on that have contributed to where we are now. With even his diehard fans wondering if he still got it or if he's finally lost his mind and talent altogether, while others fear that he's now dealing with an addiction that could do permanent damage to his health. It's your boy Louaista, and this is the unfortunate downfall of Kanye West. Or is it? Let's take a look. Ever since Ye first received fame and fortune, he was as outspoken as they come. And after the shocking death of his mother left Ye's mental health in a state of permanent fragility, the controversies just kept coming. Taylor Swift, Slavery is a Choice, DEFCON 3, you name it. But through all of it, fans could always permit themselves to deal with it because the music was so consistently revolutionary.
I'm not talking about rapping. Of course, Kanye can't rap like Drake or Jay-Z. As an artist, the best hip-hop artist of all time, Kanye, if not one, is number 2. When it comes to changing the sound of music, dictating exactly where it was gonna go, his impact outside of music, bringing music to even different places, I don't see anyone like Jay-Z's a great rapper, he's a great businessman, and he's a great hip-hop artist too. But if we're talking about the best, personal flaws aside, that's the thing when we talk about Kanye. A lot of times we're talking about it, we just are having a conversation about some remarks that he made that are anti-Semitic. We have to remove all of that and just only think about his work.
I see what you're saying.
And if you look at his albums, you name me somebody who possibly has damn near 6 classic albums. Every time he dropped one of them, music pivoted, or people around him pivoted. We don't even get Drake without Kanye. You get what I mean?
Whatever you think about Ye as a person, there's no denying that pedigree of great music that stretched back to the College Dropout, through Graduation, 808s, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and all the way through to Kids See Ghosts with Kid Cudi. Even the Donda album had a lot of highlights. And with that kind of catalog, fans were happy for him to be an anti-establishment figure, rebelling against the world of celebrity and fame that he felt was trying to destroy him.
My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize.
What's crazy is that he had evidence of plots to control him too. In 2023, for example, Ye revealed text messages from his former personal trainer, Harley Pasternak, which suggested that he would keep the legendary rapper and producer drugged up if he didn't comply with his wishes. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words, and everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you, or you saw in a tweet. Kanye's former trainer told him. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play dates with the kids just won't be the same. But even with that kind of clear evidence of outside interference in his life and attempts to make him a well-behaved, famous person, some felt that Kanye had gone beyond the point of salvaging after comments like, "There's a lot of things that I love about Hitler," or the whole White Lives Matter thing started doing the round.
I think that he put himself in a bit, and I believe this to be true. I don't think Kanye believes any of that stuff. In my heart, I think this is all
a game for him.
Yeah, it was a game. I think he went too far and he knows he's too deep and he painted himself in a corner. And now he goes, well, if I go fucking bonkers, if I lose my mind and do crazy shit in front of people
talk about it.
Yeah, and then it'll also be a way for me to go, I told you guys I was sick, which he did. He said he was, he has fucking issues. So it'll be almost on us.
Formerly a billionaire, Ye lost partnerships with Adidas and Gap over his comments, and his bank account was taken down to an estimated $120 million. Since then, accusations and lawsuits about what it was really like inside Yeezy led to claims that he wanted to install a cage for students in his school, and that he threatened to punch staff while also giving preferential treatment to white employees. But still, Ye persevered. even when just about everyone in the mainstream had abandoned him.
In order to be a good firefighter, you got to be willing to run into that fire. And that's what makes me the #1 firefighter. That's what makes me Michael, because I'll run into that fire for the people in the burning building.
Because of everything that had happened since he last dropped a project, there was really no way of knowing how his album, Vultures 1, would be received. Relieved of any industry support as an independent artist, Ye's back was up against the wall when it came time to drop his first collab project with Ty Dolla $ign. But still, even with all the talk of boycotts and fall-offs, he still debuted at #1. Across 168 million streams and 18,000 copies sold, Ye had every right to feel like he was made of titanium. And not because of the $850,000 permanent titanium grills that he had controversially fixed into his mouth. And in interviews around that time, he talked like it, discussing things like how he tried to have a threesome with Nicki Minaj and Amber Rose, as well as throwing shade at Drake and Universal Records.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien and Universal. He's like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSP.
When the Kendrick and Drake beef popped off, he even dropped a Like That remix. But it didn't have the same impact that it might have had a few years ago.
Kanye, sit your fucking ass down somewhere. Mind your fucking business. This is not about you. This is some attention-seeking shit that you're doing. Already. Get him out the booth. He had too much to drink. He got that too hype. He got that fucking lunchbox in his fucking mouth. Looking like a fucking doof. We can't even really hear what he's saying, can't articulate no more.
And now it seems like Joe was really onto something, because as the brief hype around Vultures 1 fizzled out and the cycle for the sequel began, it would become clear that not only could the aftermath of Ye's titanium prosthodontics prevent him from articulating his words, but maybe his musical ideas and thoughts as well. Vulture 2's release cycle was anything but straightforward. In fact, before it dropped, Kanye seemed like he was about to throw the towel in altogether and turn his back on the art form that made him a star. Or at least that was the case according to a text exchange with Rich the Kid. Straight away, Rich tried to talk him out of it. "I am retiring from professional music. Not sure what else to do." Retire? Why? How? The people need you. The music you and Ty and we have made was the biggest stamp in the culture to this day in 2024. Drop Ye About Mine and Vultures 2 and we do it all over again. The kids need you, big bruh. Maybe some time to chill, but retiring ain't it. Although it's unclear how serious he was, it speaks a lot to where his head was at during the recording process. For once, it sounded like self-doubt was starting to seep in. Then, there was the gauntlet of release dates. Originally scheduled to drop in March, the date, as well as several others, came and went. Fans should have known better, but still permitted themselves to get excited. Believe it or not, Vultures 2 did not drop tonight, like Kanye West said it would. Can you guys believe it? No Vultures 2. Heartbroken. Y'all really thought Ye was dropping Vultures 2? Now, the list of Kanye albums that have faded into the hard drives and never seen the light of day would merit its own video. But its lack of release date was only the beginning of the problems when it came to this project. In the past, fans might have been aggravated waiting for Ye to drop, but when he finally delivered, it was usually worth it. Sometimes, that delay even resulted in earth-shattering projects, which changed the course of hip-hop as we know it. But that's not really the case this time. Unless that change in course is the movement that fans finally began to abandon ship or wonder if he had lost the magic that had excused all of his other actions. Without question, Vultures 2 is the worst received record of his career, even shoddier in construction and execution than its predecessor, the second helpings of a memorably distasteful meal. And for his longtime critics, it marked the moment that they were vindicated for everything they had said about Ye.
Right now, whether or not we get Vultures 3 may not even be something that is on the minds of anyone right now, even some of Kanye's most hardcore fans, what remains of them now anyway, because the reception online for Vultures 2 so far has been pretty f***ing terrible. The creativity is not there, his mind is not there, the effort is not there, the music, most importantly, is not there, and Vultures 2 is just proving to be the proof of that, staring you blankly in the face with no filter, no nothing, completely raw dogging it, just uninhibited laziness and bad ideas, given even Kanye's most hardcore fans are disappointed by it, and believe me, many of them swallowed Vultures 1 happily, and that album was total crap in order for them to actually be disgusted and disappointed with the quality of Vultures 2, it has to be unquestionably one of the worst things to be released this year.
It wasn't just the bloggers and content creators either. Some fans also had some really harsh words for the project. One even said it was like it had been made without his consent. This album feels like listening to a posthumous release. It's like that third or fourth posthumous release where there's barely any material left. As well as being panned by critics and fans, Vultures 2 also broke his long-standing streak of #1 albums that spanned back to late registration in 2005. But when you look at what's on offer and the lack of care that went into the final product, it's easy to see why.
It was like, okay, if Vultures 2 never comes out, I wouldn't be that hurt. And I think that they should have probably kept this album in the tuck. Reason being, you can make arguments for this record having, strong cuts, like maybe a 530. Maybe if you really want to make an argument for a Sky City, River was sought after. But the problem with this album and this track list is that it's not finished. You're not getting a finished product whatsoever. And I feel like that's a big community sentiment at this point. People are asking themselves, why even release it if half of these records, or mostly half, like I would say 90% of this album, feels like a demo?
That's what really sucks, is that Kanye West is telling us as fans with this album, I just don't give a fuck.
Even the stands are at a loss with the unfinished tracks and generally apathetic nature of the final product. These are professional artists, and they lost stems. It's clear that Ye doesn't even care about his songs anymore. Then there was the rumored existence of an AI verse, which felt like the embodiment of all the claims that Ye just didn't care about this project. That first verse on Sky City is definitely a sci-hi verse converted to Ye's voice with AI. His flow and cadence is all over it. It's not like it's all bad. Some tracks on the album have potential, but weren't nurtured to the point of greatness. Because of that, even his collaborators are getting roasted, with fans baffled as to how people like Denzel Curry and JPEG Mafia's presence in the creative process couldn't save things. Me and JPEG both worked on Vultures 2. How did it come out so ass if both of y'all helped? With so many collaborators and so little that seemed polished, Vultures 2 marks the messiest and most underwhelming project in his entire discography. This seems like a major shift in character for a man who once refused to release physical copies of projects like The Life of Pablo, just so he could continue to tweak it till he was satisfied with it. But as people who were formerly in his inner circle have revealed, that's because for all intents and purposes, this isn't the same man. It's an addict who is losing control of his mental faculties, his money, and even his life. Remember how I said earlier that his teeth had played a role in where he's at now? Well, that's because ever since he's gotten his titanium grills, it's alleged that he has been addicted to nitrous supplies by none other than his dentist, Dr. Thomas Conley. Describing himself as the father of diamond dentistry, Conley is a tatted up, likely roided up man of medicine who lives a lavish lifestyle off the backing of his clients, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for his services. But apparently, his relationship with Ye is way more sinister. As a former staff member of Ye's, claims he's using his role as his nitrous plug to systematically enter West's inner circle and leave him financially ruined. The one who raised the alarm about this was Milo Yiannopoulos, Kanye's former chief of staff. The man is no saint himself, but that's not what we're here to talk about. After he ended his business relationship with Kanye over Ye's shelved plans to make X-rated films, Milo opened up about what he felt was going on with Ye's operation, right down to the sorry state of Vultures 2. And from the outset, he placed all the blame on the gas and the man supplying it. There is a reason Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is no longer capable of successfully releasing music or clothing. In fact, there are several reasons, but the most serious and the most recent is his dentist, Thomas Conley. Conley got Ye hooked on nitrous, which is laughing gas. It is my belief that Conley sought to diminish Ye's mental faculties so that Conley and his business associates could extract millions of dollars from him. Reportedly, Ye is now so hooked that he is paying $50,000 a month for his services, with Conley continuing to supply the gas long after the emergence of distressing symptoms that led to widespread comment and concern. In a sworn affidavit that he signed against Conley, Milo said that employees at all levels of Ye's company were worrying about Ye's dependence dependence on the gas and speaking openly about it. Ye himself talked about it non-stop in meetings, seemingly in and out of the inhaler mask on a near constant basis. He then added that a division head with years of experience working closely with Ye confided to me that it was like speaking to an entirely different person, while another junior staff member at Yeezy reported seeing Conley hauling 4 large surgical tanks of nitrous oxide into Bianca Sensory's apartment. Straight away, Conley's team issued a denial, stating that Milo's story was not only factually incorrect, but also intentionally misleading. He also shared his own text messages where he told Milo that the tanks are empty and have been empty. Very little nitrous has been administered to Ye, but trying to drop receipts might not have been the smartest idea from Conley. Alongside Milo sharing texts to other employees of Ye, where he revealed that Conley had just moved into his apartment block at Ye's expense so he could better tend to the patient. The former chief of staff also shared communications between Conley and Ye, where he directly asks for tanks to be dropped off to him by his dentist. This needs to be a long-term goal. Get recreational nitrous legalized. Meanwhile, we mastered the delivery system with a 2-year head start. Can I have the nitrous today? Tom, you said you'd bring them by today. Checking in. Are you at the chateau? Yes, can do. As if this wasn't enough evidence, there was also photos and videos clearly showing Ye hooked up to the tank.
Ryan Garcia, this Ye, I'm on the nitrous.
Now, it's not just Milo who is outraged, but fans who are concerned for his health as well. The saddest part is that it causes permanent brain damage. I fear his best days are behind him, and that is so sad. I'm not a fan of what Ye's been putting out as of lately, but it all makes a lot more sense now if these allegations are true. Although Ye's team has yet to confirm or deny what's going down, it's easy for people to believe when you look at previous situations he had dealt with and how much he's leaned on things to try and escape what he's facing in life.
So you don't think when Kanye posted that screenshot of his trainer saying he's gonna put him back on those drugs and all those threats, and then you look into who that trainer is, maybe there's some validity to the people that are around Ye and trying to attack Kanye West? I think Kanye's a lot of fucking things and a lot of fucking crazy, and I mean that respectfully, but a lot of crazy.
Liar.
I don't think he's a fucking liar. I really don't. Judging by what Kanye has told us about his mental health, yes, I can see addiction being a very easy thing for his brain to adapt to. He's been addicted to porn. He has a very impulsive fucking brain.
Yeah.
So you don't think somebody could easily get him addicted to any type of drug? We saw his trainer do it. We saw, like, now the dentist is where we draw on the line?
Now, after years of high pressure and scrutiny from the public, it looks like Ye is trying to escape his reality. And it's not the first time. If you're under the impression that Ye is a newcomer to laughing gas, you're mistaken. In fact, Ye's love of nitrous began way back in the days of the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy sessions, and he detailed it in an interview with Us Magazine. One time I was at the dentist's office and I was given nitrous gas and I was vibing out, West said. I guess that's my version of Steve Jobs and his LSD trip. When I had this first thought, what is the meaning of life? And then I thought, to give. What's the key to happiness? Happiness. What do you want in life? When you give someone something, should they give you something in return? I came out of the gas and had a completely new attitude on everything. It's fine to not get credit for everything. It's almost better. For the amount of things that I really want to do, it can only work if I'm credited for about 20% of them. Because if I'm really credited for the amount of things that I'm going to do and what I want to do, it's just too much. The reward is in the debt itself. The times that I've looked like a crazy person, when I was screaming at an interviewer or screaming from the stage, all I was screaming was, help me to help more. I've given all I've got. I've gone into fucking debt. It's all I've got to give. But if I had a little bit more opportunity, I could give so much more. That's what I was screaming for. Help me to help more. Clearly, Ye always felt there was something he could gain from nitrous, but it's interesting when you think about the timelines of his use. The first time was back when he was despised by the world for upstaging Taylor Swift. He even had the President of the United States, Barack Obama, calling him an asshole. At that point in his career, it was the most intense public outrage he had ever dealt with, and it took him being numbed to feel better about it. So now that he's been faced with losing everything from his family to his net worth, it's no surprise that an enabler like Conley could easily get their hooks in him. After all, this is not the first time that he's ended up in a vulnerable state because of drug use. What we're seeing now is similar to where he was with opioids just before the MAGA era. And when Ye woke up out of that drug-induced haze, he got himself back on track.
Because I was drugged the out, bro. I was drugged out. I was on opioids. 2 days after I got off of opioids, and I was addicted to opioids, I'm in the hospital, right? I'm taking hey, everyone listen to this, please. 2 days before I was in the hospital, I was on opioids. I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction. And they gave me opioids, and I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work on the opioids, right? Then my boy, and there was talks amongst my camp, like Ye's popping pills, right? So when he handed this to me, he said, you know this is used to kill genius, right? So I didn't take it. 2 days later, I'm in the hospital. I was taking 2 pills a day at that time. When I left the hospital, how many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. So the reason why I dropped those tweets and everything, because I was drugged the out, bro.
The only hope is that it's not too late for Ye to get his life back under control, kick the nitrous, and begin taking charge of his life and career again. Because as it stands, things don't look too good. But even if he can achieve that, he might still have a mountain to climb to get back to the levels of adoration he got from his fans. Because at the moment, a lot of them are trying to come to terms with his fall off. This is how it feels to accept that Vultures 2 is a fundamentally bad album and no amount of mixing fixes will make it good. I'm a fan because he used to be a perfectionist who worked with only the best people who also wanted the records to be perfect. Now he just releases trash and losers out here are acting like it's even passable. And beyond that, they're also accepting that Ye finally releasing subpar music removed the protective barrier that used to always shield his fans from leaving him behind when he acted out. At the moment, Ye is facing one of the biggest crossroads of his life, and those who refuse to turn their back on him are clearly worried. Actually, even some of his harshest critics are concerned about him.
Unfortunately, I do. And not just Kanye. I do believe
I don't like the source, but
I believe that at a certain level, there's a handler by you or eyes on you, and if you start getting crazy, listen, your primary physician could be the op, your dentist could be the op, your mechanic could be the op. Like, I'm psycho enough to believe some of that.
I believe that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that exists with him,
It's
but
beneficial if we keep you fucked up.
We gotta keep you in line.
Yeah.
And I certainly got an email from somebody formerly in his camp yesterday wanting to do like a little tell-all, but I dubbed it.
Speaking of Kanye,
Yeah, it's too messy for me.
Whatever you think about some of the things he's had to say, anyone who's followed rap music or culture in general knows what a big impact he's made to it. So it'd be a damn shame for him to go out like that. I really hope Kanye gets the help he needs. As a fan, he's contributed so much to the hip-hop space. And even if his career is at the point where some feel that it's unsalvageable, Kanye has proven that he can turn tragedy to triumph time and time again. So while things need to change, only a fool would truly count him out until his very last breath. Let's just hope that doesn't come anytime soon. My name is Louaista, and I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys on the next one.